My name is Emily, and I live alone in a small apartment on the second floor. It's not fancy, but it's mine. I've always liked living by myself. It's peaceful, quiet, and safe. At least, I thought it was safe. A few weeks ago, I started noticing small, strange things around my home. Nothing big, just little details that made me stop and wonder. One day I came back from work and saw that my shampoo bottle had moved. Another day, my charger was plugged in when I didn't remember using it. My cereal box was on the opposite side of the counter. The blinds were slightly open when I always kept them shut. I tried to ignore it. I told myself I was just tired. I work long hours at a bookstore, and sometimes I forget small things. But deep down, I knew something felt wrong. Then one evening, I came home early. The hallway light inside my apartment was on. I never leave it on. A chill ran down my spine. I slowly walked in, looked around. Everything else seemed normal, except for the silence. A kind of heavy silence that made my skin feel tight. I called my best friend, Lena. "You're overthinking," she said. "Maybe you left the light on by accident." I almost believed her, until the next day. That morning, I carefully lined up my shoes by the door. When I came home, they had moved. Not a lot, just slightly out of place. Enough to make me freeze. Enough to make me feel like I wasn't imagining this anymore. I started setting tiny traps. I balanced a light paper on top of the door. I sprinkled some salt right in front of it. I placed my hairbrush exactly a certain way on my dresser. Each time I came back, something was slightly off. The salt was smudged. The paper had fallen. The brush moved. I wasn't crazy. Someone had been inside. But how? My windows were always locked. I never gave anyone my key. Only the landlord, Mr. Carter, had a spare. Still, I wanted to be sure. I went down to the office and asked him casually, "Hey, did someone enter my unit for maintenance or anything?" He smiled with that same fake warmth he always had and said, "Nope. You'd get a notice first. Everything good." I nodded, but something about his smile didn't feel right. That night, Lena called me. "You should set up a camera," she said. "Something hidden, like a phone charger camera. Just to know for sure." The idea made me nervous, but I knew she was right. The next day, I bought a small hidden camera online. It looked like a simple USB charger. I plugged it into the wall near my living room. It could detect motion and record onto a memory card. The day I installed it, I left everything as usual. I lined up the salt at the door again, turned off all lights, locked the door. Then I left for work. All day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. What if no one came? What if I was just paranoid? But deep down, I was afraid I was right. When I came home, the salt line was clearly smudged again. My hands were shaking as I took the camera's memory card and plugged it into my laptop. There was one video file. It started with an empty room, and then the door unlocked. A man stepped in. My landlord, Mr. Carter. He looked calm, casual, like this was his own place. He walked straight in and glanced around. He didn't seem in a hurry. He went to the kitchen, opened a few cabinets, then walked into the hallway toward my bedroom, out of the camera's view. I paused the video. My chest felt tight. I rewound and watched it again just to be sure. He used a key. He didn't break in. He just came in, like it was normal. I stared at the screen, frozen. I felt sick, afraid, violated. I wasn't imagining things. My landlord had been coming into my apartment while I was gone. And now, I had proof, but I had no idea what to do with it. I couldn't sleep that night. Even though I now had proof, I still felt afraid. Every sound in the apartment made me sit up. I kept the lights on. I kept the video file open on my laptop like it could protect me somehow. My landlord had walked into my home with a key. No permission. No warning. No emergency. He went straight into the bedroom. That part hurt the most. He had seen the most private part of my life. My bed, my clothes, my books, maybe even more. And he acted like he had the right. I called Lena early in the morning. "I have it," I said. I caught him on video. She didn't speak for a few seconds. "Emily, this is huge. You can report him. You can sue him." "I know," I said. "But I'm scared. Do you want to stay with me for a few days?" I thought about it. But the truth was, I didn't want to run. I didn't want to hide. I had done nothing wrong. He had. I wasn't the one who should feel afraid. Still, I was shaking when I left for work. I carried the USB drive with the video in my pocket. I backed it up to cloud storage too. If anything happened to me, someone would know. The whole day I couldn't focus. I kept looking over my shoulder. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped. When I came home, I walked slowly to my door. The salt I had poured earlier was smudged again. That broke me. I walked in quickly, closed the door behind me, locked everything, then fell to the floor. I cried. I cried not just from fear, but from rage. I felt invaded, like someone had taken my safety and torn it apart. That night, I sent the video to Lena. She watched it and called me back, her voice shaking. "We're going to the police." But I hesitated. What if they didn't believe me? What if he said I faked it? He was powerful in the building. Everyone liked him. Who was I? Lena didn't give up. She found a tenant rights lawyer online who gave free consultations. I booked an appointment. The next day, I visited her office and showed her everything. The video, my text with the landlord, the footage of the smudged salt, everything. She leaned back in her chair and said calmly, "Emily, what your landlord did is not just wrong, it's illegal. He broke the law. You have the right to press charges." "But I'm scared," I said. "Good. That means you're sane. But don't let fear stop you from standing up for yourself." I nodded. For the first time, I felt like someone was on my side. She helped me write an official legal notice, demanding a formal apology, stating that if he ever entered again, I would report him immediately. She also helped me write a complaint to the Tenants Association of the building and to the local housing authority. I printed everything, walked to the building office, and gave the letter to the assistant. "Is Mr. Carter here?" I asked. She looked nervous. "No, he's out." I gave her the envelope. "Make sure he gets this." Then I went home. That night, something strange happened. He called me. His voice was quiet. "I got your letter." Silence. I think we misunderstood each other. I stayed silent. I just wanted to check on things. "I didn't mean to scare you." I finally spoke. "You had no right." "I understand," he said quickly. "It won't happen again." He hung up. The next day, I got an official message from the building office. Mr. Carter was stepping down as manager. He would no longer have access to tenants' units. A new manager would be handling things. He hadn't apologized directly, but he was gone. Lena hugged me when I told her. "You did it," she said. "You stood up for yourself." And even though I still felt shaken, I also felt proud. I changed the locks that same day. I slept without the lights on. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel afraid.